Hello. Again, my name is Radovskiy. I'm responsible for AMD components business in Russia, CIS, Ukraine, and Baltic countries. So today I would like to speak with you about new market trends and AMD solutions and how AMD could help the market moving on and help to you grow your business. So, but firstly, about who we are and what we are doing in the market. How do we see ourselves on the market? AMD is a company established in 1969, so we are a pretty old company with a lot of achievements and a lot of IP in microprocessor and graphics development. So started from 2000s. So we achieved a lot of new milestones in this market. We were the first who brought 1 GHz CPU on the market and 1 GHz graphics processors on the market. We were the first who brought APUs, so concept of CPU with powerful graphics on the market. We basically introduced x86 64-bit architecture to the market, which right now used everywhere. So every PC right now, every new generation PC basically use this instruction set in this architecture to drive the software. But if we would look at this roadmap, at this history trend, we will see that there is a significant gap. Starting from 2011, we basically we had challenges to offer new CPUs to the market. At some point, we decided that powerful graphics in CPU, as a part of CPU, could compensate any performance gaps in any insufficient performance on CPU side. That concept cost us a lot. So we lost significant market share from 2011 till the last year. So we had a lot to catch up in 2017 when we introduced a new generation of CPUs. I will tell you about those new CPUs slightly later, but I would say that we achieved a lot of great achievements last year when Ryzen family was introduced. So generally, looking at the PC market trends, so this is exactly what about this presentation, the whole story, where we see the biggest growth opportunity on the market. First of all, traditional PC market. This market had a challenging time last decade probably, but we're seeing that it's recovering. It stopped to fall. We see a lot of interest in powerful PC and powerful notebooks, and a significant part of this market is driven by quite expensive and quite high performance solutions. Secondly, very big growing market is immersive market. It's a market about gaming. It's a market about entertainment. It's VR. It's all of the technology we used to talk about last few years, and which is still very, very demanding to the hardware and very appealing to the customers as well. And third market, big market is data centers, is everything about the cloud, is a hardware needed to run cloud business, hardware to need around artificial intelligence, and all of the new applications we're seeing today. So we are focusing on each of those three stages, and we have a brilliant new products to support your business there. So, as I said, 28 billion PC market TAM, it's our expectation. We expecting that this market will be about 28 billions big in 2020. And this market is still very much alive and still driven by high performance and premium desktops and notebooks. We have a high performance CPU, We have a high-performance APUs. We have a quite competitive graphics for it. Immersive market. Here, AMD could leverage our expertise in both CPUs and graphics. We basically only company on the market which have a very strong IP around x86 CPUs and powerful graphics. So this IP is very extensively leveraged in all of the new generation consoles. So all of the latest generation consoles basically built around and built based on AMD graphics and CPU technologies. This is including Microsoft, including Sony, PlayStation, including latest generation Nintendo appliances. And we're expecting this market to grow at least about 7% per year till 2020. So we have a strong focus over there. And of course, data center, we significantly lost market share in the last few years, but we are returning with a new, very interesting and very appealing and very, very competitive product called EPIC, and I say a few words about it slightly later. So, what devices are powered by AMD? Of course, traditional desktops and notebooks, it's obvious. Besides this, game consoles, or all of the modern game consoles are driven by AMD. But besides this, there are lots of very interesting professional appliances like digital signage, like medical imaging, like different display systems for emulation, for casino gaming, which is also heavily relying on AMD hardware. So to address all of these different appliances, we have three big product families, which is EPIC, it's a server and a data center CPUs, which is Radeon, it's our graphics brand, and it's basically a graphics umbrella which covering graphics for very different areas, starting from gaming and continues through the professional graphics and computational graphics Radeon Instinct. And of course Ryzen brand, which represent all of our consumer and commercial desktops and notebooks latest generation CPUs. So getting back, as I said, we had to do a very big leap in 2017 to reach our competitor and to offer the CPU performance, which is very competitive and very appealing to the end customers. And 2017 was a very, very big and very busy year for AMD. So starting from Q1, we introduced the whole product stack, starting from Ryzen 7 till Ryzen 3, which is directly positioned against Intel Core i3, Core i5, Core i7. Those were the great CPUs. So basically, if you would look at the performance gain each year in the very, very demanded $200 CPU price segment, we will see that without AMD, in the last few years, basically average performance growth were fluctuating about 10%. Sometimes it was even below. With introducing Ryzen in 2017, average performance in well multi-threaded applications jumped up to almost 80%. This is very significant performance gap, which basically made whole market moving, which make AMD which help our customers to get much more performance within the same budget. And of course, it's also affect our competitor. Our competitor used to enjoy sales of 4-core CPUs for last 8 years already. A few months after Ryzen introduction, they moved to 6-core designs. So these kind of strong CPU offer made the whole market more competitive, make the customers open the customers and access to much higher CPU performance from both AMD and Intel, which is good for market anyway. So again, and it's not only about one price niche. We basically Ryzen raised up the performance performance level in every significant price point, starting from $100 to $1,000, from 20% up to 80%. This is incredible leap. So it was a very great achievement. But, of course, there is always a but. There's always a few caveats. So one restriction, all of the Ryzens had no integrated graphics. So you had to install discrete graphics card to make the system work. It's perfectly fine for expensive PCs like Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7 based PCs, but it's definitely a challenge for entry-level PCs and especially for commercial market, which is rely on integrated graphics for years. They don't need discrete graphics. So we had to change this. And second issue was single-thread performance, which is especially visible in gaming, where we still had a small performance disadvantage versus competition. We had to fix it in 2018. And we basically did it. So here's the plan for 2018. In Q1, we already introduced desktop APUs. In Q2, we already introduced second generational Ryzens. Next in pipeline, we are going to introduce Ryzen Pro for desktops, which is commercial-based, commercial-focused CPUs. And we're going to introduce second generation of very high-performing Ryzen Threadripper workstation CPU. So what we did first, we introduced a Ryzen with integrated graphics. It's not just a kind of look back, just to make, just to show the Windows, just to show the standard Windows interface on the screen. No, it was very high-performing graphics, which basically effectively replaced inexpensive discrete graphics. So in fact, if you would see $170 Ryzen CPU could effectively replace $20 more expensive Intel CPUs plus $90 integrated, $19 discrete in NVIDIA graphics. So effectively, we redefining the market. Launch of new Ryzen 5 2400G and 2200G makes the all discrete graphics below $100 in new PC very inefficient and very obsolete. So basically, we bringing very strong, very high-performing graphics sufficient for mainstream gaming into the CPUs and make it available to everyone. It's changing the market. So secondly, we're introducing second generation of Ryzen higher performing Ryzen 5 and Ryzen 7 CPUs, where we're addressing the gaps, the insufficient single-thread performance gap we had before. So right now, top-performing Ryzen 7 CPUs are very competitive with Intel offerings in gaming performance, in the single-thread performance application. So we are basically matching the competition, but in multi-threaded applications, so heavy applications around media, around rendering, about image editing, about video editing, Ryzen still have a dominating performance. The overall performance, average performance gap is over 20%. So last few words about EPYC. We understand that server market without competition is struggling, that competitor enjoyed almost monopoly for too long. So we feel like this market need a radical change. There are lots of new appliances, there are lots of new challenges like artificial intelligence, like cloud, which needs a total different approach to the whole system architecture and performance level. So we introduced EPYC, which is designed to increase performance output with decreased TCO and stronger security. So what we did, we basically made one CPU which is not only able to compete with dual CPU competitive system. It basically effectively surpassing it in every important performance metric. It's a 21% higher performing. It have a 33% more cores. It have a 11% higher memory bandwidth. It have a 60% more I/O lines. So one CPU is effectively beating dual core competitive offers. So this is an incredible offer, as this is incredible performance performance levels and performance density for the market, which is really needed. Again, a similar story in dual core systems. Dual core versus dual core, of course, the difference even higher. So in average, we have a 47% higher performance, more cores, more memory bandwidth, more everything. And of course, our primary focus is the biggest growing appliances in the server market today, which is, as I said, HPC, cloud, data analytics, machine learning. This is where our new CPUs are heating up the competition, effectively beating competitive solution, and could offer very, very strong price performance, both advantages in price and performance. So, and of course, every CPU is nothing without strong platform. Here, we have a strong support for leading platform manufacturers, starting from big industry leaders like Hewlett-Packard, like Dell, and also component providers like Supermicro, Asus, Gigabyte, Tian, Inventec. So EPYC is very well supported and ready to be deployed in the very various segment on the market, especially in the cloud, especially in AI, especially in data analytics. So, and probably the last slide for today. Again, of course, it's very hard to feed all of the great news we have from our partners in one short presentation. So we have introduced the special hub called partner.amd.com, where you could register, you could have an access to lots of materials, both marketing materials, printed materials, educational materials about AMD, about our products, and about our market vision. So thank you thank you a lot, and I'm open for the questions. Thank you. Hopefully there should be a video, but
and it is.
Finally. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nick. And very impressive, like in the best Hollywood movies. I have, before the lunchtime, I have a simple human type of question. What you're feeling about the sentiments and people in the countries you are residing, for instance, Ukraine. The people were building up their businesses, building up the stuff. They are keen on jumping in technologies, or they have still some kind of resistance and need for perceive them that this is good. What's the sense in the air?
A very, very good question. Thank you so much. So it's very depend on the customer type and the customer audience and country as well. So generally what we're seeing fastest customers who are adopting new technology faster than anybody else is retailers. So probably it's because their customer base is very agile. They are very open to see the new opportunities, and they're switching very quickly. So then comes retail, which is traditionally more conservative. And probably most conservatives are system builders because they know how to build the systems. They earned this experience for quite a long, for years already, and they're not so keen to quickly switch to the new technologies, whatever bright and however great it is. But we see positive moves on every this segment. So we see how significantly AMD business with Ryzen is growing and overall revenue is growing because of new processors.
Wonderful. It's giving hope. It's giving hope. Very good. And the second question is very simple. We have two places where to have the lunch. One is inside in the lounge room, playhouse, and the other is in the tent outside. In which one gonna be you? In the tent outside or inside? Because there are people who want to catch you also during the lunchtime and have a chat.
I would be happy to. I probably go outside because of free air and because to relax. Yeah, but I will definitely get back. So please feel free to catch me up anywhere, and I will be more than happy to answer all of your questions.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.